Aside from the kickoff of our playoff series between the Diamonds and the Ruffin Club snub, we'll also explore the hoity-toity invention of the squeeze play, Bert Blyleven's love for passing gas, and Scott Rowland's complete ineptitude at naming charitable foundations, among much, much more.
If you have an erection that lasts longer than 5 hours, there's nothing to be concerned about. It's just that the Dougs have uploaded a new video.
To the Dougs. Everything we do here is an excuse to tell a lot of baseball stories and a lot of jokes, so if that sounds interesting to you, stay in the know and help us grow with a brand new free subscription to our channel. These videos have a lot of self-contained content, but they're also part of a series, so if you would like to start at the beginning, the link to the playlist is dropping in at the top of this video right now. Today we are kicking off the playoff series between the Diamonds and the Ruffin Club snub. Club Snub might be the favorite in these playoffs, nearly going undefeated in the group stage until they lost their final game to the Two Soons, who we saw yesterday getting off to a solid start in their own playoff series. Let's jump right in. And we are jumping in early. Tony Gwynn is hell-bent on getting his team out of the gate with a win under their belt. He leads off the inning with a single, and then he's still second. Paul Goldschmidt can't do anything with that, and he strikes out, but Tony's hell-bent to get this done, and he steals third. Gwynn actually stole bases with regularity in the late 80s. He had 4 seasons north of 30 stolen bases and topped out at 56 in 1987. Then he started putting on a little bit of weight, which he blamed on sodas, and deprecated himself by calling his frame Body by Betty Crocker. Well, it's possible that he tuckered himself out because he doesn't attempt to come home on this flyout from Nap Lajoie. With Mike Trout on deck, I guess you don't want to risk it. Like I said, you never want to take a run for granted and should have considered going home on that fly ball. That could be big because both pitchers are looking to be on point early. The next inning featured the snub's Brett Saberhagen striking out both Harmon Killebrew and Ernie Banks. And in the bottom half of the inning, Felix Hernandez joins the party by striking out the side of Reggie Smith, Jim Edmonds, and Bob Johnson. Let's go to more Saberhagen. But he's not on the mound. Brett says, screw it, I'll do it myself. This is an RBI double from Saberhagen, and that scores Scott Rowland and opens the scoring. He only hit 4 doubles in his career, but number 5 is a big one, and that may have pissed off Felix Hernandez. He's on tilt here 2 innings later in this at-bat against Bill Dahlen. Dahlen's not helping matters as he's taken this at-bat to the 10th pitch, and the 10th one hits him. Not the best decision because Jeff Kent comes up with a 2-out triple to score him, and now it's 2-0 Snubs. We're gonna keep it interesting though. Paul Goldschmidt is up and he just solved the Wordle in 2, and it was blast. That will cut the lead in half. We're at 2-1. We go to the 7th. The Snubs are trying to eke out some insurance. Dick Allen tags at second on this fly ball to the center fielder and successfully makes it to third. This is big because Bill Dahlen bunts it in an attempted squeeze, and it works! A ballsy move by the Snubs, but it pays off. The Yankees would have you believe that they invented the squeeze play, but there's evidence that it's actually these 2 snooty lawyers from Yale as they took on Princeton. Where do you need to go to find out about such a thing? Well, naturally, it's this website for White & Case LLP International Law Firm. The whole thing just feels weird. The blurb comes from this page talking about the history of the firm. You see, White & Case is a different kind of firm. Why is that, you may wonder? Well, the founders wanted to create a firm that delivered top-quality legal advice to clients. A bold goal. No, you should have just used a bigger gun from these gentlemen. With goals like that, they should have been busy, but not too busy to argue with the Yankees. Yankees manager Clark Griffith came to have invented the squeeze play in the early 1900s. This rubbed George Case the wrong way, so in the stuffiest sports argument I can think of, he sent an official memorandum in 1950 to argue the point. I guess it's still up for debate, but I feel like the guy with the memorandum on official-looking stationery usually gets the benefit of the doubt. So it's 3-1 entering the 9th after applying Yale's finest invention. Harmon Killebrew reaches, and so the tying run will come to the plate. But then Billy Wagner, who's in his 2nd inning of work here, strikes out Joe Torre and Ernie Banks. And this ground out off the bat of Luke Appling will close this one out. The Snubs are out to an early 1-0 advantage. Brett Saberhagen was great today, going 7, striking out 6, and only surrendering a single run. Felix Hernandez also wasn't shabby, going 6 innings and only giving up 2 while striking out 6. Bill Dahlen had himself a crafty day. He went 0 for 2 officially, but had an RBI and a run, including that squeeze play we just saw. So let's see if the Snubs can close out their homestand by winning both games, or if the Diamonds can pull level. It's game 2 of the series, series, and the Diamonds in the Rough are going to try to even this one up before returning to their home park. They've got a good one in Fergie Jenkins going, but Club Snub's Bert Blyleven was also excellent the first time we saw him. I am so glad we get a second chance to see Blyleven here because we missed the opportunity the first time around to highlight this man's escapades. Let's take a speed run through his accomplishments. In 1977, he was traded to Pittsburgh, a trade that may have been largely based on an incident where Blyleven flicked a cameraman off during one of the Rangers' only nationally televised games. The Rangers may have wanted to keep their sensitivity in check because he helped the Pirates along to a 1979 World Series victory. It's not the only time his profanity got him in trouble.
Against Jeter, we're going to do this fucking thing over again because I just fucked it up. Oh, we're live. I didn't know that.
He was in Taking Care of Business in 1990, but had forgotten the name of it by 2006, having to be reminded in the broadcast booth. He didn't know his own name until he got married. He was actually born in the Netherlands, but had moved to the States by the time he was 5. His birth name was, and forgive this as I'm about to purposefully sound needlessly well-traveled, Rick Albert Blyleven. Blyleven, but his parents Americanized it to simply Bert, and that's what he knew, Bert. He was aware of his original name, but had it wrong, as he had always been under the impression that Rick and Albert were combined into the single name Rick Albert. But he only found this out when he needed to acquire a copy of his birth certificate when he got hitched. He loved setting his teammates' shoelaces on fire as a prank to the point that the fire extinguisher had a note on it saying, "In case of Blyleven, pull." I went to his personal website, which comes with a fun button to make the dude pitch on the landing page. He's selling copies of his famous I Love to Fart shirt because why not? He seems to really lean into farting, as I was able to dig up a copy of that fart shirt photo and it confirms that, yes, in fact, he really does love to fart. Well, he loves farts and strikeouts, and Bert's not currently gassy. He kicks this game off by striking out the side of Tony Gwynn, Paul Goldschmidt, and Nap Lajoie, and he gets some instant run support when Jeff Kent hits a 2-run home run. Meanwhile, the Diamonds in the Rough don't get much of a chance to score until the top of the 4th inning. Harmon Killebrew's single here loads the bases with 1 out, and Joe Mauer, who's been excellent, steps to the plate. But he flies out to right field here, leaving it up to Ernie Banks. And Ernie pops out as well, so through 4, Fart Boy has kept the Diamonds off the board. And that may have crushed their spirit, or if that didn't, Scott Rowlands likely crushed it here along with the baseball for a 3-run shot and has gifted the Snubs a 5-run lead. No surprise there, Scott's a generous guy. On top of other charitable endeavors he's pursued, he also started the E5 Foundation, which was designed to help sick children or children who had fallen on hard times. It's truly a heartwarming story until you realize that Scott, being a third baseman, gave his foundation a name that translates in baseball terms to some bull-headed mistake he's made. So that shot knocked Fergie Jenkins out of the game, and Chris Archer is not providing much relief. Jeff Kent goes deep for a second time during the game to make it 6-0. And Jim Edmonds hits a 2-run shot that very same inning to put them up 8. That'll be more than enough to get it done for Club Snub as they win the game 8-1 and take down Game 2. Bert Blyleven was able to keep the cuss words at home today as he was excellent in the win, going 6 2/3 and striking out 11, and his teammates gave him more than enough support with long balls from Jeff Kent, Jim Edmonds, and Scott Rowland as they combined for 4 home runs and all 8 of the RBIs. Notable on the other side is that Tony Gwynn has decided he's going to play like Thin Tony as he steals his 3rd base of the tourney. Not good enough to scratch out the win, however. So we will be returning to Anaheim and the home of the Diamonds in the Rough to see if they can get back into this. But scratching out only a single run in both of their postseason games doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. Next time on the Dugs, we'll return to the Crawfords and Too Soon series for games 3 through 5, asterisk, if necessary. Game 3 features Pittsburgh's ace in Satchel Paige facing off against Smokey Joe Wood. That should be a great matchup. Game 4 features the Too Soon's J.R. Richard against Spoon Carter, and in Game 5 the pitchers lined up for that start if necessary is another dandy as we see a rematch between Leroy Matlock and Sandy Koufax. That does it for me. As always, if you enjoy what we're doing, please consider subscribing to the channel, leaving us some feedback in the comments, and liking the video, as that's the quickest way to make the Dugs a thing. Next up on the Doug Sports Network, it's whatever this is. You guys are seeing this too, right? I didn't take the wrong prescription again, did I? Tell us in the comments if you see it too. Anyhow, for Hamish, I've been Johnny Paprika, hoping all of your balls are fair and all of your wood is good. Good night, everybody!